Welcome back to your nerdy show. I'm your host, Spoiler Master. If you thought Silo couldn't get any crazier, Season 3 Episode 8 just proved us all dead wrong. 50 silos, nanotech apocalypses, and a secret plan to reboot humanity. This episode just gave us the biggest lore dump of the entire show. So grab a drink, because we are breaking down that insane ending step by step. Helen, Daniel, and Charlotte learn about the diggers. First up, let's talk about that massive flashback with Helen, Daniel, and Charlotte. They finally get an up-close look at these gigantic digger machines, and honestly, it's equal parts breathtaking and terrifying. Then Stenson takes everyone back to a farmhouse for food, acting like he didn't just show them the apocalypse engine. He casually drops that this mammoth digger is just a prototype, and 9 more are currently being built. Each digger will carve out holes for 5 silos, making 50 silos in total. Now, if you're keeping count, we already know from Bernard in Season 1 that there's a secret 51st silo, so Stenson is definitely burying the lead there. When Charlotte asks what the silos are actually for, Anna drops this super creepy, coy smile and says, "Seeds." Yeah, right, seeds. Daniel, being the brilliant engineer he is, immediately calls out the math. He points out that using 10 diggers for 50 silos is totally inefficient, and it's way faster to use 50 diggers, or just leave the diggers buried in the void once they're done, which, as we know from the present timeline, is exactly what they end up doing. But Helen isn't buying the cute seed metaphor, so she keeps pushing Stenson and Thurman until they finally crack, revealing the silos aren't for plants, but for housing human beings to survive an inevitable global apocalypse. Stenson is preparing for an apocalypse. And how is the world ending? Nanotech. Stenson reveals an enemy nation figured out that nanoweapons are way cheaper and far more destructive than nuclear bombs, so the silo program was built as a massive failsafe. To show how terrifyingly easy a nanotech attack is, Stenson literally had Helen and Daniel's van hijacked earlier. The plan is to eventually leak the silo project to the press, framing it as Stenson's crazy, crackpot Noah's Ark project, so that way, the enemy thinks it's a joke and won't attack the construction site. Then Charlotte drops the real question, asking if the enemy state is Iran. This is where the story turns pitch black, as Stenson claims that after Intel revealed Iran was developing nanoweapons, negotiations failed, and in retaliation, Iran allegedly detonated a device remotely in the dullest tech corridor, setting back American AI and nanotech development, which the government covered up as a dirty bomb. Charlotte learns that she was bait. To confirm Iran's tech, Thurman sanctioned a bombing run involving Charlotte's squadron, and when Charlotte went down, the US used it as cover to fire nukes into a secret tunnel dug by Daniel's tech, wiping out the Iranian facility. Helen realizes the horror immediately, seeing that Charlotte and her entire crew were just bait, sacrificed on purpose just to give America an excuse to strike. And honestly, did you notice how synchronized Stenson and Thurman sound? It feels completely rehearsed. Think about it. What if Stenson set off that bomb in the tech corridor himself? What if his nanotech hijacked Charlotte's plane? He isn't trying to save humanity. He's trying to burn the old world down so he can rule over the new one like a god. Helen sees right through his megalomania, and when Stenson argues that some random basement dweller could end the world at any second, Helen chooses to walk away, because she'd rather die in the real world than live in Stenson's controlled nightmare. Helen and Daniel defy Stenson. Charlotte decides to join the project as a drone pilot, but Daniel pulls a masterstroke. He takes Charlotte aside and hands her a piece of rosemary, triggering her memory of their mother's home cooking, which restores her individuality and warmth. Daniel rejects Stenson, chooses his sister, and joins Helen on the chopper back home. Lucas and Kennedy reach Silo 17. Meanwhile, back in the present day, Lucas and Kennedy finally make it to Silo 17. Remember that terrifying attack from last episode? It turns out whatever shot at them specifically destroyed Lucas' radio, and it wasn't a random attack. The algorithm intentionally severed their line of communication so the outsiders in Silo 18 would assume they were dead. Kennedy drags an injured Lucas through the airlock, and Audrey, Rick, and Hope let them in when they hear Juliet's name. Once Lucas is stabilized in the infirmary, Jimmy fixes the radio, and Kennedy contacts Martha and Juliet, stopping the outsiders from detonating bombs in Judicial just in time. Jimmy finds his mother's dead body. Juliet asks Jimmy to locate the safeguard pipe his mother plugged years ago. So while searching Judicial, Kennedy finds a door welded shut from the inside. Rick breaks it down, and inside, they find the preserved body of Jimmy's mother. Jimmy breaks down and refuses to let anyone move her body, which brings everything to a halt. Jimmy understands his mother's sacrifice. Thankfully, Kennedy connects with Jimmy over shared grief, suggesting a proper funeral ceremony, and after giving her a respectful send-off, Lucas inspects the safeguard pipe. He realizes something heartbreaking and heroic, that Jimmy's mom was sawing into the pipe to cap the poison, but realized it was leaking too fast and she didn't have enough welding fuel. So, to save the entire silo, she sealed herself inside the room to trap the poison, dying so everyone else could live, and making Jimmy realize his mother died a hero. Knox confronts Gus. Over in Silo 18, things are getting wildly intense. Knox tracks down his abusive, estranged father, Gus, and lands a well-deserved punch to the face. Knox, Paul, and Hank interrogate Gus about stolen items from Supply and the murder of Orla, and Gus admits that a guy named Ed approached him to draw a blueprint for a secret device in exchange for helping Gus fake his death. Mike is arrested for killing Orla. They take Gus' drawing to Carla, who points them toward the mines. They find a hidden passage and a secret elevator, and who pops out? Ed himself. Ed claims he was only hiding light bulbs to keep them safe during the rebellion, but when questioned about Orla's murder, Ed shifts the blame, claiming Mike, Orla's boyfriend, did it. Hank and Paul immediately arrest Mike, and Paul tells Kathleen that Mike killed Orla because she caught him stealing, which strangely helps heal the rift between Paul and Kathleen. Camille has a chat with Robert about the outsiders. Down in the vault, Camille talks directly to the algorithm, which drops a bombshell that Lucas and Kennedy are still alive. How does it know? Surveillance drones? Nanotech? It's keeping its cards hidden. The algorithm orders Camille to find out why Juliet really sent them to Silo 17. So Camille visits Robert Sims in seclusion, pressing him on whether Juliet is trying to disable the safeguard protocol. Robert refuses to break, insisting Juliet just wanted to save the kids, and looking Camille in the eye, he says if she can't believe in saving children, she isn't the woman he married, leaving Camille to walk out in silence. Bernard wants to converse with Silo 1. In Martha's chambers, Bernard is drawing out the silo layout, explaining that Silo 1 sits in the center, surrounded by 7 clusters of 7 silos, making 50 total. The safeguard poison flows from Silo 1 to the central silo of each cluster, which then feeds the surrounding 6. Bernard admits he used to blindly follow Silo 1's orders, even confessing to killing Judge Meadows, but now, he's done being a puppet and wants to cap the safeguard pipe to force Silo 1 into a negotiation. Sandy is caught by Emerson. The outsiders plan to cap the pipe under the guise of routine judicial maintenance, sending Sandy up as a supervisor. But Juliet realizes too late that Sandy is at the wrong panel. Juliet rushes to stop her, bumping into a slow-moving Shirley on the way. And guess what? Shirley is pregnant. A tiny bit of wholesome news amid all the chaos. Before Juliet can reach Sandy, Sandy radios in with a secret signal that she's been cornered by Emerson and his raiders. So knowing the mission is exposed, Juliet makes an ultimate sacrifice play, surrendering herself to draw all of Camille's attention so Shirley and the team can get to the correct panel. Juliet is arrested and jailed by Camille. The episode closes on a massive cliffhanger with Juliet locked up in the exact same cell as Robert. Shirley reports the arrest back to Martha, Knox, and Bernard, where Knox wants to go back to the bomb plan, but Shirley warns it could kill Juliet. Bernard insists they cap the pipe no matter what, and Martha admits time is running out before the memory suppression drugs make them forget everything. Juliet is trapped, Camille is closing in, and the algorithm is watching every single move. How are they going to get out of this one? Will they have to crash the main generator like in Season 1 just to cause a distraction? Drop your best theories in the comments below, because I need to know what you guys think. If you love this breakdown, hit that like button and subscribe for more Silo content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
No, what the heck, I'll laugh anyway.